Welcome to the Learning Project Network, where we learn through stories to make a change. The Learning Project Network, an organization dedicated to social justice issues. We are dedicated to learning about issues that impact children, families, and communities to help start conversations that lead to solutions. We believe that through storytelling and peer support, individuals can better understand how experiences lead to outcomes.
Hey everybody, this is Stephanie with the Learning Project. You guys, I have an amazing podcast today. You know I'm coming to you from Spokane, Washington, and I have been interviewing our community and really learning about what they're doing, what people have, how are they doing things, and what should we need to know. So I have a very special person here, Nichols. Hello and welcome. Y'all, I'm gonna let her introduce herself because you know me, I'm always on Facebook looking for something, and y'all, I found a bridal shop. Yes, here in Spokane, it's real, it's not fake. And so if you are listening on Spotify or Apple, please share this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. We're excited to share this moment with you. So Nina, tell us a little bit about your bridal shop and who are you and what did your bridal shop make?
Okay, so I have a bridal studio downtown Spokane. It is called Cherie Couture, and I do custom bridal gowns and evening wear. I restyle gowns, so if you bring me a gown that you maybe don't like a part of it, I can change the style for you. I can add sleeves, I can switch out the top or bottom, whatever. And I also do bridal alterations. So that is the main part of what I do. And just you wanting to know a little bit about myself. So what's that? Oh,
I said yes. Tell me. Sorry, I'm adjusting my mic here.
So I started sewing when I was 9 years old. I had a babysitter that showed me some basic stitches, and I just took it and ran with it. I was one of those, I was as an odd child. My mom doesn't sew. My grandmother doesn't sew. And so I was just on my own, but I was so fascinated with it. And so I started trying to find books on how to learn how to sew. I went to the local library. I was always checking out books on design and sewing. And I was really into the construction part. I mean, I know that a lot of maybe young girls aspire to be designers, which I did, but I was so fascinated with construction. I think I'm a very technical person. So, and so I just started making things, and I made my first official dress when I was 12 years old. Self-taught. I taught myself how to use a sewing machine, and I used a sewing machine my mom had gifted as a wedding present that she hadn't even touched. So I just broke it out and started teaching myself, and I found a pattern at the local fabric store and just ran with it. So it just stayed with me all throughout high school. I made dresses. I made my prom dress. I made dresses for other people, and it just kept blossoming. I knew that this was probably the career path I would take because I was kind of just like, it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just would search out people that would help train me. And, you know, I was an apprentice for a while, and I went to school and worked in the industry, and here I am.
Wow. Okay. So y'all, listen, when you get a chance, click on her link because you will be like blown away. She's being super humble and like, oh yeah. But when you see the dresses and the patterns, you're like, dang, these look amazing. And you know, one of the things that really resonates with me when you were talking, so my mom is a seamstress. She used to have her own little shop called Steffi Stop Shop Sew and Go. So to go into these fabric stores and Joann's Fabrics and different things like that. And we would like look at all these patterns, and my mom would be like, oh, I'm about to make this. This is about to be a power suit. Like that was her thing, to make like the big shoulders. And like She's like, oh, this is going to be good. And she would make a lot of my dresses. And so I just felt so special when she did that. And that feeling has always gone with me throughout my entire life. There's two outfits that stick out to me. One is this pajama outfit. Was like, let's talk about socks, baby. Back in the day, it's like, let's talk about sex, baby, but it was talking about socks, baby. And this other one was Snoopy. So it was like a little jean dress, and it had like the whole like Snoopy peanut crew on there. And I just thought that was like the coolest like little outfit I had. And I always wanted to wear it. So you have been in the game for a very long time. What was that one moment for you that you realized like, I need to open my own place. I need my own space. I want to give something to people in a very unique way?
I think that when I actually think at a young age, I knew I wanted to have my own shop. I actually used to keep a journal, and I used to write down like, one day I'm going to have this. And I started like listing all the little things that I wanted to have. So it was always kind of with me. But I do think that I ran from it for a while, because it just seemed like it was so far-fetched. It seemed like, how am I going to do this? I thought I would have to get this big investor and have all this money. And I just felt like it was going to be so hard to do. So I kind of maybe started to pull back. Yeah. But it was one of those things that never let me go. So I decided to just start making baby steps, and excuse me. But yeah, it's been with me forever. I think it just took a lot of great people around me to push me to finally just say, you need to do this. And that's actually what it was for me. It's just some really good people who just kind of was like, it's time, let's do this. What can I do to help you? And then that's pretty much how I got started.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. You know what? It's so interesting that you say like it took people to push you. Yeah. What was your fear when you thought about like actually opening your own shop and like being a business owner? What was the fear that you had to like take control of? And what did you tell yourself to get over that? And maybe you haven't. Like, we're all transparent here, right? We're all people that are business owners all know like we have these fears of like building something, it not working out, or going in a whole bunch of debt, and then you're like, now what? So what was that for you?
Well, for me, when I really wanted to do it, I went to school in New York City. And so in New York City, there's a lot of competition for what I do. And that pretty much is what clouded my, I guess it just made it harder for me to move forward, because you're looking at all these talented people and you start doubting yourself and start thinking you're not good enough. Why do I think I'm special? So when I moved out of New York City and ended up kind of in the Pacific Northwest, that's when I could kind of have some clarity to see that there was a space for me to move forward. And it was for me to get out of my environment. I think the change of pace here was what helped me to focus on pursuing it. And I never thought that's what it would take, but that's what it took for me. So I started just being more clear on what I needed to do. So I started just, contracting for a local bridal store. I was doing alterations, and then that branched into, people still coming to me for bridal gowns. And then I just said, I need my own space to do this. So I started really small. I had this tiny space in the back of a building, and the owner had rented it to me for dirt cheap. And I transformed that space into the most beautiful space that I could possibly create. And I can't believe the amount of people that came to me in that little back alley. Wow. But that's ultimately what happened. And it was just like a door opened, and I started as small as I could. And that's kind of how it got started.
Wow, this is so amazing. I love that you're sharing this story because I know this resonates with a lot of people and it's touching a lot of people's hearts that are thinking about doing something, but they're just like, I can't do this. Like, no one's going to want this, or, I have to be under somebody else to do this. And being creative and like stepping out and sharing your passion with the world and the community, like it can be a lot and overwhelming. And sometimes it can be discouraging, but like hearing like you just took that small space and you made it yours and you owned it, and it was just beautiful. And it sounds like it made people feel like they were in a whole different space, and that's what we do as when we create something or we develop something. We want people to come into our spaces and really feel unique and wanted and connected. And I think when you're getting a wedding dress, like for me, anybody who knows like my wedding story, it was a hot mess. Like I literally planned my wedding in like a month. I was literally like on a fog. I did not want to get married at a church. I didn't want to have this wedding. I was in college taking 21 credits, working 2 jobs. My husband was working 2 jobs. And we like threw this wedding together. I wanted all my sisters to be there, my friends to be there to help me pick out a wedding dress. My brother actually picked out my wedding dress. Shout out to my brother, Johnny Beans. And he picked out the most beautiful dress. It was like perfect for me. My hairstylist, like I wanted her to be there, but her daughter graduated at the same time I was getting married. So I had no one to do my hair. I had to wear like, I had to do my own hair. It was like everything I thought it was going to be a mess. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to make this the best I can. And I like put it all together. But one of the things that I really wanted, I wanted that wedding dress experience to be really special. So what is your wedding dress like style, and how do you want your customers to feel when they enter in your space? Or what do you feel is important that people should feel when they walk into space?
Well, before I even decided to start my shop, I wanted to kind of get a feel with what was out there. So I did work with other places to kind of see. Yeah. And none of them really offered what I was looking to offer. I feel like when you go wedding gown shopping, it's a really fun experience. It should be. You have people who are close to you there, people that love you. It should be this really special time because this is a big step that you're taking in your life. And so when I opened my shop, I wanted my shop to be an extension of that. I know that, a lot of brides who come to me, they've already found their gown. And, maybe they feel like it's the end of that special experience, but I was like, no, I want to continue the party kind of. So I have them, before COVID, obviously there are times when my whole studio was packed with family and friends and people flying in from everywhere. And it was like a whole thing. And I realized that wasn't the best approach because sometimes the bride would get overwhelmed with opinions and things, and that would actually take away from her enjoying the experience. So I decided to limit the amount of people who came. And I'm very, very protective over the bride feeling special. So if I feel like even when people come in who are with her, maybe aren't contributing to like a positive atmosphere, I kind of really step in and just, get in front of the bride and ask her, are you comfortable? Like I'm always checking on how she feels. I make sure that I'm doing what I can to make sure that this experience is enjoyable for her. So, I play music. Sometimes I serve, a little, wine or something for them, and or champagne, sorry. And then I just do my best to make it fun for them. So.
Yeah. I would have loved that. Like, I think so many times too, like when you don't have a positive body image or you don't have high self-esteem about yourself, and then you are supposed to feel the most beautiful on this day, and you come in with so many negative thoughts, and it can be hard to like let your guard down and just accept people complimenting you, accept your own beauty, accept all of these great things that are happening. What's that one piece of advice that you give those brides when they're coming in with all of these negative thoughts and they're feeling overwhelmed?
I really listen to what they're concerned about, because, at one point I don't want to lie to a bride. If she has a valid concern about something, and she's kind of relying on my expertise to help her look her best. So that's what I do. If I notice that there's something that can be improved, I let her know. And it's a delicate topic, but I feel like I've done it for so long that I know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
But I really reassure her, first of all, I'm not here to judge anybody. A lot of brides feel like they have to, please, they're apologizing for something about their body, or they're just feeling maybe nervous. And I understand, they're on the spot. So they're feeling like all eyes on me. So now I have to point out all my flaws before you point them out. And I just kind of remind them that's not why we're here. We're here to make you look as beautiful as possible. And it's my job to really accomplish that. So I think I just give a lot of reassurance and, point them in a direction where they can really trust my opinion to help them look their best.
Wow. I love that. And I think too, like a lot of times we don't get in spaces where we can trust people to tell us the truth. And like, how can we make this look great on you, and really just customize that experience, and really just like, I love that you were talking about protecting the bride, because it's like one of the weirdest vulnerable times. Like you're just feeling all kinds of feelings and you're going into another space in your life. And this is kind of like the symbol of that transition. And I think that's why so many times people get fixated on the wedding, because it's a major transition that is a representation of what you're hoping the future to be like,
Right.
So tell us a little bit more. So how long has your business been open, and what are some of the, I guess maybe what I would say was like, what are some of the ways that you have learned to build your business? Or even if you want to share like a tip of like when you're opening a bridal business, what was something that was really important for you to know to help you stay open and develop? Because this is an important question I'm asking everybody, because in the United States, 40% of Black businesses were closed, shut down during the pandemic. Okay. And I know Spokane, we got hit really, really hard. And when we look at Black businesses growing, surviving, and developing, a lot of times we don't talk about what are we doing to survive? What are we doing to make sure that our businesses are staying healthy? Because we don't want to talk about those things. But if you had one tip for everyone to listen to, or has been like a best practice for you, what would you say? And how long have you been open?
Well, I've been open since 2017. And prior to that, I was contracting, so it's still my own business, but my own physical space has been open since 2017. And then you asked me what was the one tip that I would share on what somebody would need to know in opening a business. For me, it really was to zero in on who my customer is and know and understand like who that person is. And so I think I do a pretty good job. I mean, I stay on top of what's trending. I know what the concerns are. So prior to opening, I mean, there's a lot of things you're going to learn just through doing it. But I think it's good to have a good understanding of your customer before you even open the door, and having a good understanding of how you're going to address your customer's needs. And that involves like having the skill to do what you need to do, and also having really good customer service. I would say that customer service by far is one of the most important things that you have to bring to the table when you open a business, especially if your job is to be in contact with the public. That's something that I've seen some businesses struggle with. They might have a great product, they might have a great service, but the customer service is where you keep your customer happy and coming back and referring other people to your business. So I made sure to offer the best customer service that I could. So occasionally you do get people who, maybe are, maybe a little difficult, but it's just knowing how to talk to them, knowing how to deal with them, knowing that you don't take it personal and you really do your best to win them to, still put you at the top of their list. And so I would say that that's what I would advise people to kind of really think about when they open a business.
I love that tip. And customer service is hard right now. Like this pandemic.
Yes.
As we both laugh. It's rough. It is, as we would say, it is rough in these streets.
Oh,
I remember when I was sitting at a restaurant and I was like, where is the waiter at? And I only see one person. And the lady was like, yeah, the other people didn't show up. So it's just me right now. So if you can have your order ready, that would be great. I was like, okay, well, we're just going to be patient. We're going to show support and we're going to just do this thing. And I think everybody's kind of made that adjustment. Like you're not going to have 1999 customer service. You're going to have that 2022 service.
yeah.
That, which is not, they're not comparable at all. Not comparable. But that was a really good tip. And for those that are thinking about like, who is my customer, how do I find out who my customer is? There are lots of great videos out there to help you understand. They call them your avatar. Who is your person that you need to be focusing on? Who can you really narrow in on so that your business can grow? And then also too, you can find customers that are going to be loyal to you and really connect with you. Because sometimes it's not always about the growth, but it's about really finding people that connect with you and really value your business. So Nina, I have the main question that everybody wants to know. How do you find the perfect wedding dress? Like, what is the secret to this? Because I feel like when you go in and you get a wedding dress, you like look at all these magazines and then these people are in these magazines and you're like, oh yes, I'm about to look just like that in that wedding dress. And then you get it. You get in the dress and you look like Frankenstein. Like it's not cute. You've got all these things that are wrong and you're like, where did I go wrong? So if you could give us some tips about how to find the perfect wedding dress for you, what are maybe like 3 tips that you could give us to be like, you need to think about these things and make sure you remember them by the end of this conversation?
Well, it's exactly what you said. I get a lot of brides who maybe get fixated on something they found on Pinterest and they're like, this is what I want. And my first question is, did you try on this silhouette? And my tip is to try on as many silhouettes as you can to narrow down what you like, because you really are not going to know until you try something on. What looks good in a magazine or picture might not work for your body. So when you're going to when you're going into a bridal store, just try on different silhouettes and don't settle until you can narrow down something that you like about a gown that you've tried on. So a lot of the people who come to me, especially for custom, this is a prerequisite. I like to work with brides, and this is one of the things that I've decided to narrow down to. I like to work with brides who've already tried on dresses, that have already gone everywhere. And so when they come to me, they are sure. They're like, okay, I went to like this store and I like the sleeves of this. I like this. And they're very like set, because when you build a gown from scratch, especially, you have to know what you like. Because there's it's going to make my job so much harder if you're bouncing between, I'm not sure. And if you can't visualize what you want, then you're probably not a good candidate for a custom gown as well. So that's number one, is to try on different silhouettes. The second thing I would say is to consider your venue. I actually just recently got an email from a bride who had always wanted sleeves. She was like dead set on sleeves, came in here with the gown, everything. But then I get an email like, actually, my wedding's going to be in Mexico in the middle of summer. So maybe sleeves is not a good, so you really need to consider your venue and thinking about like, is it formal? Is it informal? Is it a beach wedding? Is it the dress dictates, the type of venue you choose. So if you don't want to be wearing a ballroom gown on the beach. So that also can play a factor.
Okay, can I
Well,
just say that venue tip is fire? Like
yeah,
I'm sitting here thinking in my head about like how a venue can either make you look like really like even just like the lighting and the
yes.
weather, like
Yeah.
sweating, your makeup's going crazy, your hair is flopping everywhere because you're burning up in your wedding dress, the thing that you've been like waiting for and created, that
Yeah.
is so true. That is a really good one. I really
Yeah.
like that.
And then
So
I don't, oh, go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the last one is just to really consider just uh the events that are going to occur on your wedding day. Like, I think sometimes it's necessary for a bride. I've had situations where it's going to be a really long day for them, and so you have this massive gown. Do you want to change into something else? You don't have to wear the same dress all day. You can change. You can have a second dress option. If you're going to dance a ton and you have this long train, yes, I can bustle it, but it's going to be really heavy. So it might be in your best interest to just change into another gown. So just like I said, considering the events that are happening that day and thinking about, is this just going to work for everything? Like you said, if it's too hot or, just having a backup for something else, just in case, I think it's a good idea.
And that's the truth, because let me tell you this, if you don't have somebody, like I had to have somebody come to the bridal shop to learn how to bustle my dress.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing, you will be walking around with the wedding dress
100%.
out, and then you're going to be mad because you can't figure out how to bustle it.
Yes.
And so, and it's a real thing, especially when you like, if you're behind schedule, everybody's going all like, oh my gosh, we gotta hurry up and get to here, we gotta go here, we gotta go here, we gotta do this. Like, it is so much pressure sometimes, and you don't think about those things, or even just think about, how tired are you gonna be, or what kind of dances or whatever you're going to be doing, yeah, that one was real for me. Like, I had to have somebody to learn how to do it because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And frankly, I'm not going to have time. And I plan on doing James Brown dancing and with my dad. And I need to be able to pick up this dress and get them feet going because my dad is fast. So, I love these tips. And I hope you guys are listening to them and you're keeping them in mind, because so many people are going to be getting married during the spring and the summer, especially these outdoor weddings, because we've all been cooped up due to COVID. And so I love the tips that you're giving. And I didn't even realize too, you do evening wear too. You do all of those different things. So the gowns, like I'm hoping to go to something because I'm like, I really want to like get all fancy and dressed up. Like I like that kind of stuff. So Nina, before we end our podcast, tell me, what's the one bit of inspiration you want our listeners and viewers to hear today?
Just based off of what I do, or just in general?
Anything, like whatever resonates with you.
Well, I guess I can just refer it back to myself in that, when I chose to actually move forward in my plans to start my business, it was because it was something that wouldn't let me go. So I feel like you need to really honor that fire that's within you. If you've got a drive, if you've got a passion about something, and I don't want to sound cliche, but this is real talk. If you've got something in you that you feel that you were born to do, that you feel destined to do, that won't let up, no matter what avenue you try to choose, it just keeps coming back. It really means that you need to take your time to explore that, and really look into it, because I feel like once you decide to move forward in that, and you really start to make those steps, the doors start to open. I didn't plan everything out. I'm not that. I mean, I'm going to tell you, people will say, you got to have this business plan, you got to do this, got to do that. And sometimes that overwhelms you. I say, just make one step in the right direction. Link yourself to somebody who can mentor you, find someone else in your profession who's doing it, ask questions. We're in an information age, and I've reached out. Even back then, there was no I hate to date myself, but I put it on Craigslist for my first true internship. And today you can reach out to somebody on Instagram, Facebook, message somebody who's doing it and ask them, how did you get started? What did you do? Message like 20 people, you know, however many it takes to get the information that you need. There's really no excuse. You can do it. And so that's probably what my inspirational tip would be.
Y'all, I had to put myself on mute because I was getting all riled up. And I was like, yes, because you guys know I get so excited when I hear something that really resonates with me. And what you said, it was on point. I don't know who needed to hear that, but let me tell you, my little quote: do not send somebody chocolates, do not give them flowers, send them a podcast that can feed their mind, body, soul, and spirit.
That's good.
Really understand like what a person needs, like what do they need to hear to really uplift their spirit and really help drive them. And that is what like these podcasts are all about. It's about pouring into each other. You know, each one is unique in its own way. Each one resonates with people in a different way. But let me tell you, this conversation is so much more than just a wedding day or a bridal dress. This is about inspiring us to really look at our community and support and to stay connected and really understand what our communities offer. A lot of times we don't even know each other. Like, well, we're like 2% in the whole city or something like that. We don't even know each other. We don't even know how we can support each other. We don't even know how to pour out into these different businesses in the community. So, Nina, where can people find you? Because I know where to find you now. So I'm going to be all over that. So where can people find you?
Okay, so I am on Instagram. My handle is by Nina Cherie. And I'm also on Facebook, Nina Cherie Couture, and I will soon be on TikTok underneath Cherie Couture.
He's going to TikTok.
I will be joining the TikTok community. So,
oh my goodness, I'm loving that, y'all. If you guys are not watching the video, I have my shoulders done. I was like, going to the TikTok. I freaking love it. I cannot wait to see you on TikTok. You guys, if you're driving or anything like that, don't worry. I will have all the information down below. Nina, you are such an amazing person. I hope this is not the last time that we get together and talk and just connect. I'm so excited for you. And I know that you also have put something else out about working with kids. Are you talking about it?
I am making some steps. I don't have it 100% put together, but I am in the process of creating almost like a little workshop for maybe ages between, I don't know, I'm guessing like 12 to 21-ish. Kind of younger adults for women. And I want to put something together to teach women how to do dressmaking. So I'm not actually teaching sewing per se. It's more like using a dress form to drape a gown or drape whatever project we're working on, but just teaching some fundamental principles to young adults so that they have some type of skill under their belt. So
I love it because you don't see that at all. I know you weren't ready for that plug, but I want to put a plug in. You guys need to watching. You guys need to watch, follow, share.
You're putting a little fire behind it. It's all good.
Oh my goodness, you guys, thank you so much for being a part of this today. I don't know where you are in life, but here today, but I'm telling you, I'm pouring all the strength and love out into you today. Be encouraged today. Nina, thank you so much for coming. And you guys, oh my gosh, yes. Next time we're doing champagne and we're doing dresses and everything.
Okay, let's do it.
Until next time, you guys, see you later. Bye.